on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and today I am so excited to already be doing my first LEGO Marvel Superheroes Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 set review on Ayesha's Revenge, and the setup for this one is 76080. The recommended ages are 7 through 14, and an SP count of 323, while the price point is $29.99. So, these sets were supposed to come out on March 1st, but for whatever reason, yesterday, or the day before, I don't know when I'm going to post this, LEGO was just like, hey, yeah, everyone put those out now. And then they went up on LEGO.com, but there were no pictures for them, and I called all my Toys R Us's, started calling all the places, and they were all giving me different stories, so I was like, okay, fine. I just drove 2 hours to the nearest LEGO store, got the entire wave, because I'm so excited to do these reviews for you guys, and finally get started on the minifigures afterwards. It's going to be pretty awesome, so without further ado, let's get started. So first up, Peter Quill. This is probably the least exciting version of him that we've gotten because, for one, he doesn't come with the helmet. 2, he doesn't have leg printing. And 3, the jacket is unfortunately inaccurate due to the fact that LEGO designs these minifigures in sets like at least a year in advance. And unfortunately, I guess the text that we see on Peter Quill's, on his shirt in the movie did not make it onto the minifigure that was designed beforehand. So that kind of sucks. But like I said, he does not have the helmet either. So you do have this hairpiece, and of course this is the Superman hairpiece, and it looks really, really great on Star-Lord here in this color, and even better than it did on Captain America last year too. So I think that's great, and it works perfectly for Chris Pratt. And then you also have the return of the Chris Pratt head, one of the best examples that I give people of getting likeness to an actor on a minifigure head. It can be done, and that is exactly Chris Pratt's face on a LEGO minifigure, and it's great to have this back, even though it was already used on Bucky Barnes since we got it in the Jurassic World sets the last time it was actually used for Chris Pratt's likeness. So yeah, then the aggressive facial expression, and then we just put the hairpiece back on for now to give you a look at the pistols, which I've had down. The pistols are exactly the same as we got them in the 2014 sets. The entire mold is returning here in the exact same color, which is great because these were always great pieces, and I'm really glad to have them back because of course he is using them again in Guardians 2. And then the jetpack is literally just a neck brace with a pair of binoculars stuck on the back. That's all that is. There's nothing else to talk about. Does it really look too accurate? No, I mean, but who really cares? It's not that big of a deal. We're just going to take the head off really quick so I can give you a look at the back of the torso, which is basically just an extension of everything on his jacket. So there's not really much else to cover here, other than, you know, this is definitely just a pretty standard version of Peter Quill and not necessarily the most exciting, but it still gets the job done. Next, we've got the debut of Yondu Udanta, Michael Rooker getting his own official LEGO minifigure. This is so great, and it's great to finally have him too because he was absent from the first Guardians sets, and Guardians 2 only takes place like a couple months after the first Guardians, so he does really pretty much have the same exact outfit except for the new fin, and the fin is really well done on LEGO's part. This is an entirely new piece, of course, and it's all in trans red. Now also you have the stud sticking like straight into it, and it definitely throws you off because of course it's supposed to be one solid fin and you're not supposed to have a giant stud sticking in the middle of it, but of course this is a LEGO minifigure, and so that's something we're all gonna have to live with, and it's totally 100% understandable. But yeah, this fin is just so awesome and so well done. It's really impressive. Let me go ahead and remove it really quick so you can see what it looks like off of the minifigure. You can see it just attaches by a standard peg in there, and so I mean this is just awesome. Let's talk about the face for a second. The face, I think, is better in person than it looked in the pictures. Is the smile a little off-putting? Yeah, but I mean, it's really not that bad. This is a pretty nice looking head, and it's got all the different marks next to his face and everything. It's got the little tooth, the silver tooth in there. I mean, the Yondu head could have been a hell of a lot worse, but I think LEGO did a pretty okay job, even if it may not be totally Michael Rooker, like, you know, this head is totally Chris Pratt, but that's fine. This looks pretty great, and the skin tone is great too. And so yeah, then the torso is super detailed, and unfortunately, even though we may have had trench coats in the LEGO Batman movie, like actual fabric ones, we really can't get those on official minifigures, so we've got his entire trench coat printed on there, and overall, I think this looks really fantastic. The design on the torso looks great, and the way it extends down onto the legs, all the detail is there, it's totally accurate, and I'm really impressed with everything LEGO has done with this figure, and then it all continues onto the back, of course, which is even better. And one thing I've been neglecting expecting to even talk about is the fact that we get his arrow. And of course, the arrow here is massive. His arrow's not that big, but I mean, it's a Lego piece. He can actually grip onto it. You really can't complain. And so, I mean, this is exactly what I would expect, and it definitely works. And I think this minifigure is definitely the full package, and I'm really impressed with what Lego has done here. And here we go with the Groot micro figure. Definitely a lot better than I was expecting. I thought Lego was just going to take a trophy and just print the design onto it, but no, they made this entirely new piece, very reminiscent to that of the micro figures from the board games, and also somewhat similar to even the new baby minifigure. It kind of looks like it takes a little bit of proportional inspiration from it, maybe. Obviously not in the scale, though. So this is really interesting, and you can see Lego actually, they went with the whole, like, he's got pegs for hands, and I kind of like this better, not gonna lie. I don't really need, you know, my minifigures to have bars for hands, especially because this guy can also still grip onto things, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, let's test it out. Can he? Yeah, he can. And you can see he still has his hands looking like minifigure hands, unlike Baby Groot here, just unfortunately has these pegs. So there is that, but I do really like the head and the face design. I think that is all great and all spot on, and he's in the Ravager costume. This is not the only Baby Groot there is. You do have one where he's not in the Ravager costume, but in this set he does have this exclusive variant, so of course you have that added detail on there. And like I said, very reminiscent to to the board game figures and the baby figures. You can see that with the shape of the body, as I pointed out, and also the rivet for the feet there. And there is no detail on the back, but it's interesting because I can't really tell if this is an overmolded piece or if this entire red portion of him, you know, his Ravager suit, is printed, because you look inside and it's all a brown piece inside. If you shine a light in there, it's all brown. There's no red. So I'm kind of curious how Lego went about, mass producing this one, but that doesn't really matter, because this is honestly a lot more impressive than what I was expecting. I think my only nitpick for our Baby Groot micro figure would be that maybe they could have done something like this with the hands to make it look a little more natural. But I mean, other than that, like I said, this is great, and I cannot wait to get the more standard version of him in the Milano. So yeah, there you go, guys, Baby Groot. And finally, Ayesha herself is a pretty interesting looking figure. This was, of course, leaked, and so this is how we first knew, we got our first idea of what she would look like in the movie. But then we saw the trailer, and aside from the face, she really doesn't look anything like this in the movie, which is slightly confusing, and I'm just kind of hoping that's not a whole symptom of the whole, designing these figures after concept art. I'm hoping that her hairstyle actually does come down like this in the movie, and that she does wear this suit at some point. But I mean, we don't really know, and so I really can't comment on the design, other than I really do like the shading that runs through like the center of it there, the different yellows, and also on the sides. I mean, the design of the torso looks great. She's got her giant remote control here. This is obviously just you get the idea. You can tell what that's built out of. So there's that, and then the hairpiece is obviously in one giant golden color, because she's golden. She's she leads the sovereign people. They're a superior race. Everyone's gold. So gold hairpiece, and then also the face she's got it's a gold head. Her eyes are gold. Everything's gold. And that's actually the aggressive facial expression. We turn it around though, she's a little bit more calm, and so that's definitely pretty interesting. And I really can't comment on the design once again. It kind of just looks like something out of Lego Agents, if you want me to say anything about it, because I don't know if she wears this in the movie. Maybe you guys have seen something I haven't, and you can let me know down in the comments. But the back of the torso is definitely more detailed than the front, as you can see. So there's Ayesha, and that's it for all the minifigures included with this set. Definitely one hell of a lineup. So Yondu's laser drill ship. This is really cool. We haven't seen it in the trailers so far, but I really do love the design that Lego has come up with here. It has a lot of detail and a pretty decent amount of features going into it. So this top piece here is actually from like the Jedi Starfighters from Revenge of the Sith, but obviously in a solid like mustard yellow color, because the entire thing is mainly in a mustard yellow color, obviously with some secondary standard yellow highlights. But so in terms of like the stickers, we can cover them really quick because they're mostly on the outside, and you can see this entire dish. This is not a sticker. Of course, this is printed, and on it you can see we've got a Tavon logo for the Tavon group run by Tanalayer Tavon, the collector, which I think is a really cool Easter egg on this build here, and I'm sure it's on the actual thing in the movie. And then you can see that on this side here, and then of course you have the giant Ravager logo on the side too, because this is of Yondu's. This is one of Yondu's ships, and so yeah, then you have another Ravager logo up here, and you have these little stickers like on this dome piece for battle damage, which is great. I love the added detail. Yes, they stick out like a sore thumb, but at least it's something, and and I'm really not complaining, and I think they're okay. And then you can see on the other side we have even more, and they're actually a little bit more unique. You got like a little piece of like metal like bolted on there to like patch up some damage, some like scratch marks. I think that's really awesome. And the more slopes you have on these, more stickers you have on these slopes next to the cockpit, and this one just being for some added detail, and then the same thing for the other one, but this one having just a little bit more of a scuff mark on it. So yeah, really cool stickers, and then I think that should do it for the stickers on this thing. But you can see that the main playability function of it, of course, is the spring-loaded shooter, and you do only have one of them down here on the bottom. So I'm guessing in the movie that this vehicle, that Yondu's laser ship, does only have one cannon on the bottom of it in the film. So yeah, and then of course, you know the way stud shooters fire, you just push down on them, and then you can attack, or I guess in this case we yeah, okay, there we go. I was gonna for a second there I was gonna question all my beliefs of spring-loaded shooters because I was pushing it down and nothing was happening. Anyway, so then going back to these hatches here, these giant dish pieces, these actually fold open and reveal like a whole little section to store accessories. And of course, we have Lego's ongoing joke or gag of the fire extinguisher, so that's great. That's the thing that's in there, but I'm not really sure if it's a gag this time around, because you do have like another useful tool right next to it in the form of a wrench, which is clipped on there, and of course those can both be removed and gripped you know, by Lego minifigure hands. And then if we go ahead and open up the other hatch on the opposite side, you can see we actually have a little cabinet in here, and if we open up the cabinet, inside you're meant to store the Annulax battery, and I don't know what this is meant to be. It's literally just a 1x1 black plate with the clip attached, and then a transparent yellow 1x1 stud on, or plate on top of that. And apparently this is supposed to be the Annulax battery, which I'm pretty sure belongs to Ayesha and her sovereign people, and I'm pretty sure she's trying to retrieve it from the Guardians, I think. I don't know, but that's what Lego's calling this thing. We have to wait to see the movie to actually find out, but you just go ahead and put it in the little cabinet there, and that's where you're meant to store it, or any other accessories that are included with the set, which is great. Love the extra storage. So yeah, but we're gonna bend the extinguisher in a little bit so we can actually close it fully. And you can see on the bottom we have all these little like you know, like hovering pieces, these little 2x2 transparent blue discs that are meant to, you know, simulate that hovering effect. And obviously you'll see these like actually activated in the film, and I think it's really cool how they all fall into place and they don't really have to be adjusted. So I think that's definitely pretty great. But I mean, aside from that, you have like a pretty standard looking engine on the back, and then the final feature of this whole thing is how do you get Yondu inside? So of course this really doesn't open. You'd think that this would just fold open and you put the minifigure in, right? No, you actually you pull the back of this whole thing, and then inside you can see it pretty much pulls the seat with it, and so you pull back on it, and then you have Yondu or any other minifigure included in the set in a seated position, and then you just go ahead and slide them into that 2x2 available space in there, and then just click it back into position, and now the minifigure is inside and ready to go. And I think that is so cool and such a creative way of storing the minifigure and getting the minifigure into the cockpit without actually just, you know, cheaping out and just going for like a standard like hinge and just pulling it down, because you have all of this, you know, obstruction in the way that is the rest of the vehicle. So I really do like this build. I think I've talked about it enough. I think this is awesome, and honestly I really don't have anything to complain about here. This is a really great build. And then of course the secondary builds are also pretty cool. We've got one of Ayesha's golden drones, and this is just one of many in the movie. Apparently she's got these in swarms. I mean, we've seen them in swarms in the trailers thus far already. And then we have a little bit of terrain here, which I'm guessing is from her planet that we'll talk about in just a second. But the golden drone is definitely pretty nice, fairly intricately designed actually. I love the golden dish on the front, the stud shooters on the sides, which of course can be rotated a full 360 degrees, and you know how stud shooters work. You push down the gray lever, they fire, you lose the stud forever, and then you pull it from the extra pile and everything is great again. But you can see we got some trans blue slopes on the front, which are meant to look like the cockpit, and I'm pretty sure a person can fit into these and that they're not, you know, unmanned. I think that's speculation, but I don't think this is minifigure scale, but still a great design. And once again, and then on the back you can see the engines that we've got going on here have some trans purple disc and disc pieces and studs, which I think look great. And of course these are articulated, attached by some basic clips onto this like universal hinge piece, and so there's that. And then you can see these like the legs of it are actually articulated by two different ball joints. So unfortunately you do have to spend a little bit of time posing them if you want them perfect, so that's a little bit annoying because I'm OCD about things like that. But then at the same time you can also fold them back and then maybe like get it into its flight position. I don't know how these actually fold in the movie, but Lego, you know, given that they've supplied us with 2 ball joints for each of these, I'm pretty sure we can probably recreate it in you know, whichever in whichever way they fold in. But if I were to guess, maybe they just do that when they're like in you know, battle mode or whatever Lego has listed it as on Lego.com. So I think that pretty much does it for the Golden Drone. It's definitely a really nice little build, and I like it quite a lot. And then so the little bit of terrain is fairly straightforward. The whole idea is you take Ayesha, and then you just go ahead and you put her on one of the slopes, like right there, and then this little stud you push down. You can see the little technic piece down here. It's very simplistic. You just go ahead and push down on that, and then she falls over. She topples over with that little bit of terrain. It's meant to be a playability feature, which I think is definitely pretty cool. And of course, you can take Groot, and if you want to make a little bit more of a narrative out of it, you can just use him to push it down, and maybe even attach him, like I just did by accident. And then I think Ayesha actually controls these like swarms of her golden drones in the movie with this remote control, if I were to guess, that we saw earlier in the review here. So I mean, that's just speculation, but I mean, they're called drones. She's got a remote control. Drones are usually controlled by one person if they're unmanned, and you know, they come in swarms. That's just how things are in movies. So I don't know, all speculation. I don't really care. But they're still really great builds, and overall everything in this set in terms of the designs and builds are fantastic. I totally recommend this set for 30 bucks. I really think you're getting a great deal out of this one. I mean, you get 2 fantastic vehicles straight from the movie that are both really well designed. The debut of Yondu Dante as an official Lego minifigure, and you also have Baby Groot in the Ravager costume. There is no going wrong there, and I think that this is definitely worth picking up, and I know I absolutely would have picked it up even if I wasn't doing this review. So yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it though for this review, and we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the box, instruction manual, extra pieces, and the comic book, and we'll wrap up this video. I almost forgot what I was about to show you, and then it's also not going to be done in that order, so we're just doing great today. So the box is pretty straightforward, not a whole lot going on here. Really great graphic. I love Yondu's arrow flying, and you have all the minifigures in the bottom left corner here. The Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 logo on the bottom right, which is awesome. And then on the top right, you have all the Guardians right there, and that's super small on this box, unfortunately. But we got Peter Quill sporting the actual size reference on top, and then on the back, all the features that I just went over, along with, you know, the whole scenario playing out and Ayesha flying off the rock and everything else. Comic book included, advertising for Lego.com/Marvel Superheroes, and a nice promo shot of the team, and again, the Guardians logo on top of that. So pretty cool, man. Definitely a box. So we actually get 2 instruction manuals. I have no idea why Lego insists on making 2 for such a small set, but this one comes in at 27 pages, and you build Ayesha's drone and her little bit of terrain. And then the second instruction manual is obviously for Yondu's ship, and you can see this one caps off at 69 pages, and or 70, so that you can't make jokes in the comments. And then also you can see we have the advertisement on here for the entire lineup, and I will be reviewing the other 2 over these next few days, and so that's really exciting. And then another advertisement for Lego.com/Marvel Superheroes, so you can definitely check that out if you care, probably not. And then I always love these advertisements for Lego City. No idea why this is in here. I guess to promote the brand. Maybe Lego City isn't doing that well right now. I have no idea, but I always love these photos because I can never make a city that would ever look like it. Anyway, I don't know why I'm still talking. This is new. I don't know what's going on here. I don't really care. Now, I really doubt it, but just in case the comic book spoils anything from the movie, and if you're just super sensitive to even potential or spoilers or the possibility of them, maybe skip this segment. But here's the comics cover. Really love this cover. This has got to be my favorite one in a long time. That looks fantastic. And so we're going to flip through this, and you can pause at any given time to take a look at all these illustrations. I think they're fantastic, and personally, I'm not going to be paying too much attention to them because I don't want to get spoiled, so I'm kind of sensitive, but you can pretty much see all of it going on there. And it's really just nothing major that I can see. I mean, it just doesn't, I mean, there are no major plot giveaways about Ego the Living Planet or anything else like that. Just some basic stuff with, you know, to give you some scenarios to play out with these sets. And so then you have the final page there, and so that's definitely pretty cool, man. And then the very back here, we've got the checklist with all the different renders of all the minifigures, and man, they all look fantastic this time around. Lego has done such a great job on the Guardians 2 minifigures. I cannot wait to talk about the rest of them. So yeah, love that checklist on the back there, and this is a great comic this time around. The extra pieces are actually pretty great this time around. You have your BS, you know, studs and everything else, extra spring-loaded shooter, whatever, but we get an extra arrow for Yondu, and also an extra fin. You have no idea how much I appreciate this as a customizer. Now I don't have to ruin the only one I have. This is fantastic. So thank you to the LEGO group. Anyway, that is also it for this entire video. Thank you so much for watching the whole thing, guys. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up.
Give me the battery or I'll strangle this little thing and blast both of you. You have until the count of 5. 5, 4, 3.
We are Groot.
I'll get the pot. Alright, there you go. That's it for the first Guardians 2 set review, and if you enjoyed the video or maybe found it informative, or if I did in fact help you in deciding as to whether or not you do plan on picking up the set, be sure to let me know by dropping this video a like below and or your opinion on anything I said, any mistakes I might have made, anything you agree with, disagree with, down in the comments, because it seriously means a lot, guys, and it always goes a long way. I know I say that every video, but all the recording and takes that go into the making of just one review and then all of the editing that follows, it's a pretty tedious process, and a process that I'm going to be keeping up probably until Tuesday or Wednesday, I think, because I do want to bring you guys all 3 of these reviews so I can get on to actually making my own custom minifigures to celebrate the movie's release. But there is one movie to celebrate before that, and that is Logan. We're going to be making a figure or 2 to celebrate Hugh Jackman's final Wolverine movie, and to catch updates on that video, that showcase those minifigures, and everything that will follow in 2017, be sure to follow the book face, the Instagram, and the Twitter, and all those are down in the description. I think you probably get the point. You've probably even seen it for yourself. Anyway, that's it. First Guardians set, badass, fantastic set. Consider picking it up. As I said throughout the video, thanks for watching. Goodbye. Peter, you are my son. That guy's an asshole!
Look out!
Revenge, and the setup for this one is 7608. Well, this variant of him necessary. Sure to let me know, and because all of it means a lot, guys. I just bumped the camera, son of a bitch, and you know, Ayesha following. Made, agree with, disagree with, whatever. Now, if you are this video, a like below and or an opinion, then ship. This is really cool. We haven't seen in the you might agree with or disagree with mistakes I might have made. I can